Good day, viewers, and welcome to Reminiscences. Our guest today is Ambassador Mohammed Lameen Metteden, who is a lawyer but spent most of his working life in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where he served in Liberia, Holland, and Rome before he became ambassador in Mozambique and other countries in that region, and later on also ambassador in Zimbabwe. He was also a director of several departments in the ministry before he retired, I believe around 1999. Welcome, sir, to the program.
Thank you.
And we normally start with your early years as a young person.
Okay.
I believe this was in Kano. So can you take us through that period of your...
Okay. Yes. As a very young man, I moved to Kenya under the tutelage of the late Alhaji Abdul Malik, who was...
You were born in Kano?
I was born in Kano.
Yes. And how long did you stay in Kano before this move to Okene?
Moved to Okene, I was very, in fact, although I started primary school in Kano near Lantata's place there, but then I went to Okene, I started primary school. Even was first year in primary school, you were doing the local language.
So you moved very early to Okene from Kano?
Yes.
Well, why Okene? Why? I mean, for somebody from Kano, how come you moved, you uprooted and moved to Okene?
The late Alhaji Abdul Malik, who was High Commissioner in London, happened to have, I don't know, hit it with our old man.
Okay, so it's a family,
yes,
a friend of your father's?
Yes. So, in fact, when I went to Kenya, in my first year, we were even being taught instructions in the local language, Igbo.
Did you move to Okene alone or with your other brothers?
No, my immediate older brother, later Abba Mustafa.
Right.
Abba Mustafa, yes, we went together. We went together with him. Well, in fact, he died in Okene, that. Many years later, I think when I was in Kefi or something like that, yeah.
As a young person. So how was life in Okene for you, coming from Kano to that place?
Well, not too much of a problem, really, because Alhaji Abdul Maliki, although he was a son of the Atta, he lived away from the township where the Atta's palace was, near the motor park and and all that. So you were on top of the hill there. So we used to trek half a mile. Even the public water tap was about halfway down the hill. When the women want water, they have to go down the hill to draw water from the public tap.
What was he doing himself then? Because I think he became High Commissioner to the UK later. But at that point, when you moved with him to Okene, what was he doing? Was he a teacher?
He was sort of, if you like, the any scribe. His father was the Atta. He was any chief scribe, there, and his offices was very near the Atta's palace.
Right.
So was prison yard and everything, you know,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our school was just about half a kilometer away from the palace where our primary school was, you know.
How many years did you spend in Okene?
Well, all my primary school years, I even did the middle school there before I went to Kefi. I did the middle school there for 1 year, I think, 1 year before I went to Kefi. Yes.
Yeah. So are you good with the language? Is this something that you
Even-
retain
oh,
with
yes,
you?
quality, definitely.
Even now?
In fact, our first year, everything, the instructions was in Ibila, you know, and all that. And then, but then, for Alhaji Abdul Maliki, who brought me up, we were up the hill, and luckily, some of his, words, some were relations. Even some went with him to Kasina College, you know. They stayed in Kasina somewhere, being a prince, you know.
When he was a student himself?
Yes. Yes. Because in those days, you know, all these mayors, they could offend, they could, because of the relationship with other potentates in the other areas.
What period did you go to Kefi? What did you do in Kefi? Is it senior secondary school?
No, secondary school, 6 years, you know.
6 years?
6 years in those days, they were not doing work in 5 years. Then, 6 years, yes.
Yes.
6 years in Kefi, yes.
So how was the experience, Kefi, in those days?
Kefi was all right. We had most of our teachers were, Englishmen. We had only 2 Nigerian teachers. Malam Isa Koto, who was, who went to Kasina College too. He, in fact, he had a very small voice. When he's talking, you would think he's some English woman. Malam Isa Koto from Koton Karafi. So, and he used to take forms 1 and 2 in English, in Kefi.
This is in the 1950s. What period was
52. I went there 52.
52.
I went 52.
So I know that from Kefi, you also went to King's College, Lagos.
Yeah.
For your HS higher school certificate.
Yes.
Was this something that you chose, or something that you really, it was imposed on you?
I think I chose. What happened was that somehow the principal in King's College, usually when another one comes, his predecessor becomes advisor on secondary education, So he came to Kefi. And some of the boys, particularly some of the black boys who had some relations in Lagos and all that, used to, one of them asked, why aren't we allowed to go to King's College? So I said, no. Then the principal, how many of you are interested in this? So, a few of us raised our hands and said, okay, we should come and, see him, so that we could. And that's how I went to King's College.
So this was in 1960, I believe.
Yes, 59, 60. 59, 60, yeah.
Lagos was still not yet the capital of Nigeria. I mean, how was the atmosphere then? For you coming from the north into...
Lagos was the capital.
I mean, it was before independence, I mean.
Yes.
So it was the colonial capital.
Yes. It was the colonial capital, and, My old man used to be a broadcaster, so he was even moved to Lagos.
Okay. Okay, so he was in Lagos by the time you went there, 59, 60.
Yes.
So it was a bit of home for you.
Yes.
And I think from King's College, you went straight to study law in England.
Yes.
What gave you that kind of opportunity? Because most people would stay and teach and maybe work first before becoming students straight away.
Now what happened then? I think we applied for law scholarship, and Justice Belgoria and I, that's where I first met him.
Right.
Justice Belgoria, so
in King's College. Was he in King's College also?
Now, did he go to King's College? He was from Elisha Grammar School, and all that. I don't think he went to King's College. Yes. Maybe Elisha Grammar School too also did HSC.
You applied together for the law scholarship.
Yes. Yeah, that's where I met him actually in the interview.
Was it the northern one? The northern?
Yes.
Or the federal?
Northern scholarship. Although my old man was on the board of the federal scholarship, and he himself being a broadcaster, he was more in the radio, took him to Lagos.
This was Radio Nigeria, right?
Well, yes.
He was
Yes.
So what happened? You applied for this scholarship to go to England. Was it straightforward? You just got it?
No. We applied for scholarship.
How many of you went at that time? You mentioned Belgori.
I know we went to Belgori, but I remember one boy also from Okene who used to go to Lagos very often. He knew about King's College and all that.
So talk to us about life in England for a young man then. This is 1960.
Oh, yes. Well,
60, 64.
Yes. For me, it was very easy, really, because Abdul Malik, who brought me up in Okene, was High Commissioner at that time.
But then he was in London.
Yes. So
okay.
Home. And because he had also a son, Mashud, who was my age, and he knew how we were. So immediately I went. The first time I went to greet him, he said, no, you should come to the house. He took me to his house. And,
so you stayed in the house of the High Commissioner to study law?
Yes.
In 1960?
We did. Because his son was also there, and he was in King's College, London, and all that. So we were all together. There was also another son who looked much more like him, Mazu. Also, he was behind me, a year or two behind me.
Did you need Latin in those days to study law, and how did you?
Latin, somehow, we had a teacher who was a Latin master, so he coached me privately.
This is in King's College?
Yes. He coached me privately,
So it was not part of the curricula for you to learn formally in the school?
No. The people who used to go, without Latin to other Inns of Court. But the Inn of Court I went to, they used to insist on Latin grazing. They used to insist on grazing. They used to insist on Latin,
So was that a problem for you?
No, language? Because I did the Latin. I did Latin in our Latin master in King's College, coached me privately.
So it's good enough for you to follow?
Yes. So I managed a pass. So
now, you studied law. Normally, many people who studied law, especially in the 1960s, the opportunities are endless.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
be a lawyer, you can be a civil servant.
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Why did you choose the foreign service?
Well, let's say Abdul Maliki brought
You
me
were
up.
influenced by
Abdul
the High
Maliki brought me
Commissioner.
up, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. And at one time, even my old man himself was a Nigerian political officer
Okay.
based in Omdurman in Sudan, yes.
Right. So those are the I mean,
Yes.
you felt comfortable there.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true.
How were the early years in the service? I believe you are, after the training, you are posted to first Liberia.
Yes, well, Liberia, I didn't stay long because our student officer for Northern Region, Ambassador Dolong, yeah, when he became ambassador, he requested that I should be moved to Holland, where he was going to serve.
Okay.
And
So after Liberia, you served in Holland.
yes, and Rome.
A lot of people remember, those who follow these things, your tenure in
Liberation
the
Committee.
OAU Liberation Committee.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think you seem to have stayed a very long time there.
8 years.
What was the OAU Liberation Committee doing at that time?
We were mainly assisting those liberation movements recognized by the OAU, liberation movements of Southern Africa, yes. Those were, a few of them were recognized by the, like MPLA, ZANU, ZAPU,
MPLA is out of Angola, ZANU from Zimbabwe. What of the ANC?
ANC and
the
all that.
other ones
All
in
that,
South
yes.
Africa.
ANC, that was the mother of our liberation movements in a way.
So what were you doing for them? What help were you giving them?
I was Assistant Executive Secretary, Administration and Finance. So we used to go to the front line with them to see, how they were doing this. They will kit us with their uniform, give us AK-47 rifle. I will go with them to the front line where they were fighting.
So did Nigeria really at that point, was it able to really give money? Because that's one thing we became known for supporting, funding this movement. Were we in the 60s then?
Yes.
Were we able to still give money when we really didn't have much then?
We did give money, although those members of the OAU who were members of the Liberation Committee, because certain countries were chosen because of their, and they became members of the Liberation Committee as well, particularly all those countries in Southern Africa. And
the front line.
Front line states,
Yes.
like Tanzania, Zambia, and all that, they were.
So we became front line because of our size, right?
That
and
is
maybe
true.
also
That is true.
our
And
capacity to help.
Yes, our funding. Yes.
But did we really, because many Nigerians have the impression, and you are in a vantage point to know, that we really contributed huge funds. It's like we are the one country that helped them to liberate themselves. How true is that picture?
Well, I think they exaggerate it. Every member of the Liberation Committee had his own assessed contribution into pay. Of course, they will take into consideration your means, the country's means, and all that. Yeah. So what people contributed to the Liberation Committee was different depending on the country's size and all that. Yeah.
How was it for you personally? I mean, here you were in this quite dangerous job, so to say. I mean, confronting these determined colonialists.
Yes. In fact, one of the things we used to do we used to go to the front with the liberation movements, you know, we'll kit ourselves
To see
with
yourself.
AK-47 and all that, you know, yeah. And, and of course, you know, obey the instructions whenever, you know, particularly whenever the colonialists were coming or were raiding.
Were you at a risk? Dar es Salaam was then fairly far away from, of course, this the theater.
Yes.
How was Tanzania then, Dar es Salaam? This was the period when Mwalimu was
Yeah,
experimenting with his African socialism. What do you make of it? Was it a success?
I think Mwalimu was you know, a great person, a great person really. He was very humane, very kind, very helpful to the countries who were trying to liberate in Southern Africa. Yes. No, he was very good. He was very good indeed. He was all right.
Yeah, but do you think he made mistakes in his economic policies? Because Tanzania for a long time lagged behind in development, say compared to Kenya next door.
Well, yes. Well, Kenya was, if you like, East and Southern Africa. Kenya was probably the best known place businessmen, you know, go to.
Tourism.
Tourism and all that. Yeah. Well, they were near Serengeti and all that.
But how was Dar es Salaam? How was Tanzania? Were those policies of Nyerere, were they really good for his people? You lived there? Was it a happy place?
Yeah. I think yes, it was. He was very good. He was a very good leader. He was a very good leader. Like our executive secretary
of the Liberation Committee
was Hashim Bita. Yeah, he would appoint him. You know.
Let me take you back to Nigeria's role. There's still this maybe controversy. Nigeria has helped a lot, funded these liberation movements in Angola, Zimbabwe,
yes.
Mozambique, South Africa itself, Namibia.
Yes.
Yet many Nigerians have the feeling that they really didn't pay us back in a nice way. Nigerians are sometimes maltreated in those countries. Even now, visa for Nigerians can be difficult in these same countries that we helped to become free. What do you make of this argument? Do you think it's a fair assessment on our part, Nigerians, to say, look, these guys, we helped them, but they are not grateful in that?
I wouldn't say so really. Because they have high regard for Nigeria and Nigerians, except of course those really bad ones, Nigerians who go to do bad things, you know, drugs and all that, you know, and all that. They do appreciate what Nigeria, you know, did. How Nigeria helped in their
but
liberation.
did they show it? I mean, in what ways do they show that appreciation? Or is it only diplomatic exchanges?
Well, one way, you know, is the ordinary people, you know, when the way they relate to those of us Nigerian officials who had something to do with the Liberation Committee. Yes, they do show appreciation, you know, they do.
I think your first posting, sir, as an ambassador is to Mozambique.
Yes.
Under Samora Machel then.
Yes.
Can you let us into how that period is? I mean, this is a revolutionary period for Mozambique. There was a civil war going on, I believe. between him and his opponents. So how was it for you as ambassador, newly posted ambassador?
Well, it was all right, really. It was all right. It was all right in the sense that Samora Machel was a very pushful and active head of state. He used to have some very good deputies who were in the liberation struggle with him. Some of them were mixed, like Marcelino de Santos. Marcelino de Santos was one of his closest and number two.
These are people you knew from the Liberation Committee?
Yes. Marcelino de Santos, yes, because as the Liberation Committee we expect the recognized liberation movements to send delegates to the Liberation Committee. And I, of course, I used to, pay them their allowances, and all that and whatever. And if they needed anything other that the Liberation Committee can do or can ask resourceful members of the OAU to, they tell us, and we will, approach the members of the OAU concerned, to assist them in that regard. Yes. Yeah.
So how did you find Mozambique with all those connections you had? How was it in those? This is 1981.
Yeah. Mozambique was all right. Mozambique was all right. They had their own problems, in the sense that they still had a bit of rebels who, even after their independence, were being supported by some other countries to, harass them, and they were otherwise. But it was okay. It was generally peaceful. They didn't have too much of a problem, really.
What are the economic problems? I remember reports about them actually depending on South Africa for even food items.
Well, South Africa, I think, yes, of course, they were countries that have gone through the liberation struggle and all that. And, there are countries like, Botswana who are, assisting them. Botswana used to assist them a lot with things like meat, and all that, because they didn't have any. Otherwise, they were all right with it. They had Renamo and all that, but they were.
What was Nigeria doing for them? What was the content of our relationship for you as ambassador to advance?
I was particularly close to Samora Machel's number two, Marcelino de Santos. He was he was half caste, so we used to discuss, and whatever he thinks we can do to assist them, I would do. I would take it up, either with Nigeria or with the OU generally. Yes.
You were able to help them
through
that
yes,
economic
and some of the,
difficulty.
yes.
What do you think in the end happened to Samora Machel? Was he killed, or was it really an accident? when his plane crashed?
Well, one would the one would IEU, one would. Naturally, I think it was an accident, really. It was an accident.
So the speculation that it's the South Africans who sabotaged the plane is probably...
Well, it could be, maybe. We don't know.
Later, you became ambassador in Zimbabwe, where actually you stayed very long, and from there ended your career in the ministry.
Yes.
Tell us about Zimbabwe of those days. This is in the early 90s, where it was actually probably the most successful country in Africa.
Well, in a way, Mugabe himself was a very educated and enlightened man, so, and he was, always, very outgoing and related very well with other members of the OEU and all that, and he didn't have any problem, particularly those countries around him, like Tanzania, Zambia, and all that. They had very good relationship with him.
What accounted for the success? Because Zimbabwe in those days, in the 90s, was an economic powerhouse.
Yes.
Growing food, exporting food.
Yes.
Is it the what made that possible? Before we go to the later period when things actually deteriorated, is it the white farming activities, which is very strong?
That is true. That is true. Of course, the white farmers, they didn't do the donkey work. They had the blacks, who were doing it for them. So, those blacks who are working for the whites also, learned, and became themselves, commercial farmers, if you like, yes.
But people say that those black elite that now acquired farms, sometime even forcibly.
They didn't know how to handle
they didn't really run them well. Is the problem beginning to show at that period?
Yes, that was really a problem, because some of them initially, naturally, the leaders of the liberation movements wanted to appreciate the leaders of the liberation movements, and give them some land that was not properly. Some of the whites naturally left because so initially the government took over those farms and gave them to blacks who couldn't really run them the way the white farmers were
rewarded
them with some of these, and unfortunately they couldn't. They couldn't cope. They couldn't do what the white farmers were doing.
So what do you think? Why did Zimbabwe, up to now, it seems to be in a very serious problem? Well, after Mugabe has left.
Problem is partly rooted in the way the liberators themselves, handle the abandoned farmlands. They initially gave the abandoned farmlands to those who were in the struggle with them. And of course, they couldn't. They couldn't. Yes, they couldn't. they could run the farms, you know.
You retired from Zimbabwe as ambassador. I mean, it's a very quiet life being ambassador, or even the kind of work you do. Did you find it strange to after working for that long period to suddenly be retired, not really active?
I was one of those who kept calling Oluwadeniji, was our PAMSEC then, you know, that you know, I have told you people, you know, it's about time I retired. I said, you just stay there until you are recalled, you know. Until you are recalled, yes. So I said that, but I kept calling. Look, you just stay there until you are recalled.
So you stayed a little beyond your retirement.
Well, not too long after. Not too long after. Yeah,
so what have you been doing since you retired?
Well, nothing really, except that, you know, we still have our association of retired, not only forest officers, civil servants. We have that association which meets from time to time. Once in a while, not too often, but you know, we do meet.
So retired ambassadors and senior civil servants.
Yes.
What do you, when you meet? What do you do? What do you make inputs to government, or is it just a social club to kind of fraternize with each other?
Yeah, we do try to reach. You know, some of us who have close friends in the government and all that, you know, we do tell them sometimes to raise some issues with those currently in power, you know, all that, you know.
So how is life for a retired ambassador? You know, is it comfortable, the retirement? I mean, you haven't served in the foreign lands, live in big mansions? You know, how is the translation back home?
Luckily, you know, it was all right, because, you know, when I retired, you know, I came back to Abuja, to my own house and all that. I still have a lady tenant who is here, you know. Yes.
So you have a few properties to...
Exactly. I have. And then we have a flat in Kano, with the old man, a block of 6 flats. The same next door to my house where I stay.
Is a retired life really, you know, quiet? It's too quiet for somebody who has been all over the place?
Well, I wouldn't say so.
Otherwise, how is your day-to-day, how is your daily life now as a retiree? What do you do during the day, typical day?
Nothing as such, you know, nothing. The meetings, I say, we do have, you know.
What a personal circle of friends, those you went to school with, are there people still you are in touch with on a regular basis?
Yeah, well, there's Ambassador Lawal, who, you know, we were in school together in Okene and all that. So, and he lives near here in Abuja here. Yes.
Do you engage in a physical activity? Are you, given the situation of the country, are you able to move around?
Well, you know, let's say I used to play tennis. I used to play tennis, but no, I haven't played for a long time now, because I was
What a walk-in and is this something you are able to do?
Yes, well, sometimes I like on Sundays maybe that's when whenever I may walk down to buy the papers and all that the Hilton here and all that.
How is family life for you? I know you married fairly late in life.
Yeah,
Yes.
very late. It's okay. The children are there. It's just children, all right. Only Abdullah is around with us. Well, he travels very often. Then
All the others are walking away from you? How many?
Away. And then I have only 3 children.
3?
Munir, Abdullah, Malika. Now, Malika, she's somewhere. Where is she now? She's somewhere outside, way far away, outside the country.
She's in the U.S.
U.S. somewhere. But Abdullah, we do see, very, very often. Although he himself, travels a lot,
What do you make of what Nigeria has become now compared to this period when you went to school, things were working well? Are you surprised where we are now compared to that period?
Well, in those days, if there's anything you think Nigeria needs to do, you will approach a friend who is close to somebody in government, and you raise the issue. They hope that he will take it up with his friends in government, things like that.
But do you feel kind of ignored, that you still have a contribution to make, but you are not consulted as you should be?
No. Well, that's the purpose of our meetings as retired ambassadors or as retired senior civil servants.
But are you, on the final note, are you unhappy with the state the country is now? Do you feel let down, given all the work you have done over so many years to contribute your own quota?
No, what should I say?
Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you very much.
Mohammed Lameen Metteden. And thank you, viewers, for staying with us to go over the life of this very distinguished man of, as you can see, not too many words, but somebody who has served his country for a long time in various sectors, some of which cannot even be discussed so openly. So on that note, I'd like to thank you for staying with us on this program, and hope you join us on another episode of Reminiscences.